So we talked earlier about putting yourself in bed at night and basking your way to sleep.
Right.
And that way you get a head start on the next day because you wake up in the vortex.
Right.
Now, if you'll take an extra 5 or 10 minutes and just lie there longer and really focus on things about your life experience that you appreciate. In other words, bringing it close to yourself, focusing on things like the comfort of your bed or the comfort of your pillow or the good feeling of your body. Sometimes you can just focus upon your physical body in a way that you'll just feel the rhythm of it. You want to say something?
Then I fall asleep, and then when I wake up, I got to do it all over again.
You're a lot more trouble than you're worth, really. That's never the case. So you wake up and you focus in appreciation until you are feeling maybe by your standards just normal. So then let's take it a little further. Then take any issue, one of the things for that goosing up life feeling that you're talking about.
Right.
Esther went through this process back in January where we encouraged her to bask herself to sleep and then appreciate once she woke up, and then watch as she moved through her day for out of the vortex moments or opportunities to do focus wheels. So while she's driving, which she often is, she carries a tape recorder, and when she's not driving, she keeps a piece of paper in her pocket with something to write with, and she literally was mining her day looking for focus wheel material. Something would happen and she would whip out her recorder or her notebook and she would say, oh good, focus wheel stuff for tomorrow. In other words, because she was really looking for things that were a little off in her vibration that she could rectify during tomorrow morning's focus wheel process. Jerry would laugh at her because she would have a list of 3 or 4 or 5, sometimes 10 meaty focus wheel things. And it was uncanny how often the group of focus wheel things that she'd gathered up, at the heart of them was all the same vibrational glitch that she had going on. It was sort of like the universe was saying, well, if you just something about writing it down brought her another and another and another and another and another, as law of attraction will do. So then when she would lie in bed in appreciation, she could hardly wait to get up and go do her, she would say to Jerry, let's go to the living room and do our high-minded work. And what she meant was, let's have some high-minded conversation. What she meant was, I want you to sit and listen to me while I do a focus wheel.
She's addicted, isn't she?
And Jerry found it to be quite fun because Esther would really make her out of the vortex statement. She would really rub it in some strong way. Sometimes he was the subject of conversation. But it was whatever life was giving to her. And then she would make her in the vortex statement, and then she would get on the wheel. And after 4 or 5 or 10 focus wheels, it really doesn't take much time. Most mornings it was well under 30 minutes. She would then launch off into a book of positive aspects on whichever subject she had felt the most movement on. And then she would cap it off with a rampage of appreciation. So as the days would go by, each one building on the next, she started getting that sort of euphoric feeling of well-being. It began to follow her every way. And she began to announce to Jerry, I'm in the vortex and I am never coming out. Well, what that meant for her, of course, she knew she would come out occasionally, and we knew it too. But what she was trying to describe is the over-the-top feeling of empowerment and clarity that was hers while she was in the vortex. The rendezvousing of people, the meaty conversations they were having, the people that they walk this big loop that takes about 45 minutes to walk, and it's through a residential area, and so there are hundreds of people in the vicinity with whom they may rendezvous. And the more in the vortex she became, the more the people that happened to be at their mailbox or happened to be walking their dog or happened to be out and about, that happened to come into conversation, the more they were a vibrational match to Jerry and Esther's inside the vortex chat. In other words, you talk about wanting that feeling of elation. To be in the vortex is to have that cooperative universe, the laws of attraction, the energy that creates worlds acting as your concierge, acting as your travel guide, acting as your liner upper of all things that come. And under these conditions, the food that comes doesn't just taste better because you're in the vortex. It tastes better because it was prepared better. It tastes better because it was purchased better. It tastes better because your inspiration to eat there was more on track. In other words, every aspect of your life gets tuned to such a frequency that you begin to feel like the entire world is aware of you and adoring you and working in concert in order to make your personal world even better than it was a moment before. And that's exactly what is happening. When you get into the vortex, the energy that creates worlds is acting as your agent. We wonder how any of you could ever bear to not consistently be in the vortex. So if it feels to you sort of mundane or sort of blah blah or sort of neutral, we want to announce to you, you just haven't really been in there long enough to really secure the vibration of it. Because when you do that day after day after day after day, if you'll do this exercise for about 30 days until you have really trained your vibration into the vortex, two incredible things will happen to you. The first is, in any moment that you're out of the vortex, you'll really know it. It won't feel neutral. And when you make your way back into the vortex, you'll feel exhilaration, but you will take your life to a whole other level. In other words, people who don't know about this vortex, people who don't know about vibration, people who don't know about the source energy that is really you, people who don't know about the gap that you're closing deliberately, people who are mostly standing outside the vortex, counting successes by manifestations that they see happening in others' experience. People that don't know about this will stand in amazement, wondering what magic you've stepped into. Wondering how someone's life could reflect such clarity and such fun and such abundance when theirs does not necessarily. And that's when you want to announce to them, I'm a vibrational realist.
So what are you saying? In the 25th century, there's going to be a 12-step process for people like us who are addicted to being in the vortex, like Esther?
We prefer 3 steps. Ask, contrast helps you do it. Answer, source does it every time. That's what's spinning around in the vortex, whether you're in there or not. Allow, get in the vortex. 3 easy steps.